What's going on, y'all, and welcome on in. It's patch preview morning, so of course we're gonna go through the whole dang thing. We have two new heroes, guys, which they both look absolutely amazing. Their skills, they look great, and I know a lot of y'all out there for that reason alone are gonna absolutely love and pull them, which is a great way to play the game, right? Play units you like, play units you enjoy. However, I'm a little bit conflicted, as I do think they could have kits that could potentially shift the meta in a way that will really affect turn 2 players like myself or newer players that don't play the speed game. But we'll get to that as we get to each individual character. We'll also cover, if we have time, any of the extra info. I think there's some great quality of life stuff in terms of expressions, and then maybe if we have time, we'll go over the banners, upcoming banners, and all that good stuff, okay? Let's get to it. Alrighty, y'all, let's go ahead and pull up let's start with the Epic 7 update 1-minute summary. We'll look at the overall what to expect from this patch preview, and then most of the video I want to talk about LUA and then Elena, get our first impressions, all our thoughts out on each of them, because they are very, very unique and potentially game-changing units. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at what we're getting here in this next update. It is a big one compared to the last few we got. They're a little bit lighter. So we're getting the new episode, Chapter 9, Wicked Land. New hero LUA, of course. New side story for LUA. She has like a crazy background, at least for the lore. A lot of y'all have been keeping up with that, but just hearing the LUA intro, there's a lot to it. Astromancer Elena coming out as well. She looks amazing visually. World Arena schedule, right, guys? We're wrapping that up. Boys, once again, if you want to stop by the live streams, check out my Twitch channel in the links below. I'm doing some Master Climb series where I've already helped a bunch of players, just formulate their drafts, give them at least a guidance on what to pick so that y'all can lock in this awesome epic skin for Apocalypse Ravi. Because if you do use Apoc Ravi, guys, I think this is one of the best skins to come out. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but I think it's so unique in terms of like how much they're changing, and I personally really, really like it. Let's keep going on here, guys. We're getting the ring coming out. Visually, it looks super, super cool. It's like a Super Bowl ring, and the stats are obviously insane. Good luck on your rolls, boys, when those come out. The September balance adjustments we're going to skip over, boys, as we've already kind of went all over all of that in its own video. UI improvements, which I believe is mostly just the facial expressions, which is great. And yeah, guys, I think that's it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump straight into LUA first impressions. Boys, real quick, since we may not have time to talk about the quality of life stuff that's coming in this patch preview, I wanted to tell y'all a little bit more about LD Player. A lot of y'all have been joining us. Glad to hear, the best emulator currently out there. And I want to talk about one of the features that y'all could get by using LD Player if you're not already. Boys, very, very underrated. A lot of other emulators have done away with it. We have the video recorder feature, and I use this all the time just for getting footage for my YouTube videos. So up-and-coming content creators, a lot of other emulators don't have access to this. It's a built-in feature that is just so seamless, so easy. Not only that, guys, let's say you don't want to make YouTube videos. That's not your thing. If you just want to record RTA matches, record memes for your friends, record your hunts, and time them, guys, this is just a very underrated feature that I use so much. Just one of the many things that LD Player does compared to the rest of the competition. So come join me. Use the links in the description below. Help support me and the channel, and just use the best emulator out there, boys. Thank you to LD Player for sponsoring us, and let's get back to the video. Alrighty, y'all, I got the video prepped.
Don't worry.
I'm gonna skip through it a lot more than usual.
Just do what I say.
Because we got to get through 2 units in this video. Even though I would love to talk y'all's ears off and just read y'all's comments on what you think too, we got to move a little bit quicker here. But here we go, guys. Obviously, she looks amazing.
It's all going according to plan.
I think I might actually skip through the lore portion, but just a quick comment, guys. Make sure y'all let me know what you think of her. I was reading through. The lore was saying she was slaying her fellow apprentices. She's getting possessed by I think they're referencing the evil god or whatever, the one that kind of affected Arya and her clan. It's like the overarching bad guy. Tell me who the name in the comments. I'm not caught up on the story. I'm not a big story guy, but I know some of y'all are, and her backstory does seem very interesting. But for the sake of time, let's go ahead and skip over the lore. She looks amazing, boys. We'll look through it quick. Look at that artifact art. She looks gorgeous, and I think a lot of people are comparing her to some Genshin characters. But yeah, let's keep moving on, and let's go ahead and talk about her stats. Okay, so when we see effectiveness on the imprint concentration, combined with like this speed, by the way, guys, 120 base speed is very fast. We can assume she's going to be a speedy opener, probably more like control support oriented. But I bet you, right, she's going to be usable in cleave. Okay, so get ready. Let's go ahead and look at her skills. Let's lead into the first one, Butterfly Reverie. So 4-turn cooldown, damage, dealt, skill enhancements. Probably you can skip these if you want, unless someone's going to build her on damage. Maybe that will be the case for cleavers. But attacks the enemy with light, dispelling 2 buffs. Okay, guys, we get more dispels, and you can't hide that behind a barrier. Some debuffers you can hide like an immunity set behind a barrier to protect it if they can only strip 1 debuff. Or sorry, if they only strip 1 buff, but she dispels 2, and then she sleeps for 1 turn and grants. Guys, we love it. Every unit nowadays feels like they have an extra turn. Keep in mind, Budding Dominion does counter extra turns, so there is that at least. So very powerful effect. We're gonna get an extra turn, sleep, dispel 2 buffs, and then lead straight into the skill 3. Let's go and look at the animation though. We'll watch that together real fast.
To sleep for 1 turn.
Those lasers, guys, remind me of either Black Clover or Sage Ball's skill 3. Pretty cool. Looks good. All right, next up, guys, we got Sweet Talk. 5-turn, 4-turn cooldown after Mola. Ignores ER, very, very powerful effect if we need it. And dispels 1 buff from all enemies. So we have 2 buff dispels for 1 target. And then we can dispel 1 buff from everybody. And then increases skill cooldowns by 1 turn. So we can even stop cleansers like Hand Guy, a.k.a. Mediator Coeric. And then inflict Beguile. And then 2 speed, or speed up for all allies for 2 turns. Very powerful. Beguile, new effect. At the end of the turn, deals additional damage to all allies of the target, except for the target, equivalent to 10% of their respective max health. Keep in mind, guys, this is a non-attack skill, which is going to be very important for both her artifacts, for fighting units like Politis. They showed that in the skill 2. You can sleep Politis so she doesn't get her what do you call it? The skill 2 counter, and then we can lead into skill 3 and not wake anybody up. While also proccing, you know, Ida, non-attack skill effects, whatever. Beguile effect applies to heroes only. Okay, so obviously more of a PvP hero. Most things nowadays don't affect PvE. And Beguile in itself doesn't seem that powerful. But against tanks and bruisers, you know, 10% on a non-attack skill for 3 targets seems pretty powerful, seems pretty good. Nothing really to write home about, but if you just add that on top of everything else she does, you know, it definitely adds up. And I think the fact that it can be used without, you know, non-attack skill is pretty powerful. Let's go ahead and look at the skill animation now. Here we go, guys.
The target.
You know, I actually think her skill 1 animation looks the best, though. Get ready to see it. So obviously this one looks great. We saw this in the preview, the concept.
And is dispelled once the effect is activated.
There you go. There's the Beguile. There's 10% damage to the Silius and the Ravi because Politis was the target. And then last but not least, guys, we have the Folding Fan. 40% chance to decrease defense, 50% after Mola, 2 turns. And the fact that she speed up is super fast base speed. Skill 2, skill 3 opener. Going to be able to defense break a target. And a lot of times, guys, a 2-turn defense break could spell death for any unit. And this is such a powerful skill 1 when we talk about how fast and how much effectiveness she's going to have. This is pretty powerful skill 1. And the best part, guys, look at the skill animation. Check this out. It's so cool. Probably in contention for one of the best looking skill animations.
For 2 turns.
Y'all see that? That little hop teleport into a fan slap, 2-turn defense break. It looks so good. And last but not least, guys, we have the Spatio-Temporal Fan. Now remember, Lua is not limited, thank God. At least they haven't confirmed it anywhere, so we can assume she is not a limited character, meaning she's not must pull because we can always get her later. And this artifact is not, you know, technically must pull, but I do think it's very powerful, even if it's not limited. Keep in mind, though, it is a very pay-to-win arty because it does have that stealth effect. If we look at Guiding Light, you know, non-max Guiding Light a lot of times can just lose you the match if your unit doesn't get into stealth or doesn't start in stealth. What is it? The re-upkeep, right? Do you want the higher chance? And here, guys, we can actually make sure there's no RNG involved. So at level 15, it'll be 75% chance. And then at level max, we have 100% chance. So if you do want to use this to its fullest effect, guys, and not risk any chance of just not stealthing, you need to max limit break it. So I do think everyone should pick up 1 copy of this if possible, if you're far enough in the game. But the fact that it's not limited means, boys, you can always just try to pick it up later. However, I do think this is a super powerful effect. It does have a 2-turn overlap, as it can only be activated every 4 turns and only has 2-turn effect. But I still think that's extremely strong and can give you enough leeway to protect those problem units, the highest attack units. Oh man, I can't wait to see the possibilities with this on top of Lua's kind of crazy kit. Overall, though, guys, let's wrap up our thoughts and move on to Elena next. Once again, not limited, so not must pull for either. I do think if you like to play that either the control, speedy style, or potentially even cleave style, I do think she's going to be very good there. She does have a super unique kit, and her artifact as well seems really powerful too. So while not must-haves, consider it. strongly consider it, and she looks great too. So maybe some of y'all are just gonna pull her for her looks alone. Okay, let's jump straight into Astromancer Elena. Okay, boys, I got the video prepped for us. I'm gonna skip through this pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and just watch
When I speak,
at least to the animation for Astromancer
move,
Elena.
you follow.
When I move, you follow. Yes, ma'am.
Thus, you will prove your faithfulness. Unenlightened fools.
She looks really good though, guys. Even though I hate her kit, you'll find out why.
Will of the stars
As a Banshee player.
find salvation.
She said the stars line. Her animations are great. She looks really good. I actually think her splash art for once doesn't look as good as her in-game looks. But yeah, overall, I think they knocked it out of the park for both LUA and Astromancer Elena. I can't wait to see ML Ray. But yeah, let's go ahead and skip through all that. I do want to watch it with y'all, but for the sake of time, let's skip through it. All right, guys. So here's her stats: attack for her imp concentrations, and then an all-rounder stat line. Definitely indicative of a ranger. Libra, we have 2 rangers are the 2 new units. Okay, so she's the next ML5, guys. Enraged Star's Retribution, this is the skill 3. Attacks all enemies with the energy of the Enraged Star, decreasing buff durations by 1 turn. Very good, right? Rip immunity. Before restricting and making them unable to counterattack for 2 turns, guys. On top of that, when using this skill, increases hit chance by 35%. So, not only do we decrease buff durations by 1 turn, guys, but we also have built-in hit chance, so we can even stop those pesky dodge units, right? The skill cannot trigger counterattack, and also we have a unit now that can apply cannot counterattack for the entire team, right? It's an AoE effect. And on top of that, there is no counterplay either, because we can even just soul burn to ignore effect resist. I am not a fan of these kind of skills, guys, that stop an entire playstyle. I do understand that a lot of players out there get frustrated sometimes fighting the Rems, fighting the Mares, especially in areas like Guild Wars and Arena. But guys, if y'all have ever ventured into real-time Arena with how strong or how aggressive the meta is at the moment, with how powerful Cleave can be, not saying Cleave isn't, is not the end-all be-all, but I do think a lot of new players struggle with Cleave. And if you can't outspeed your opponent, and now we can't counterattack our opponents, what are we supposed to do? Anyways, let's go ahead and move on with the skill kit. I'm sure cleavers out there are going to be pretty happy, or people that are annoyed with counterattacks are going to be happy. For the rest of us that are Banshee turn 2 players, we'll see, guys. We're going to have to dig deep and find some answers here.
Retribution.
Super powerful
Attacks
skill.
all enemies with rage.
We already watched the animation, but let's watch it again because I think it looks great.
In making them unable to counterattack for 2
Yeah,
turns.
2 turns, unable to counterattack, guys.
Increases hit
So
chance
once
by
again, I know a lot of
35%.
players are going to say like we can just cleanse it all, as there's a lot of powerful cleansers out there, guys. But as you can see on certain cleaves, a lot of the cleave meta revolves around being able to counter before your opponent gets their skills off. So either through the use of Rem, Green Armin, whatever, right? And hopefully debilitating, stunning, or killing some targets before they can unleash their full damage. If you're relying on a cleanser to take a turn, with the fact that this has restrict, hand guy or mediator Queric may not have the opportunity if he's on the other team, and you may just straight up die to units like powerful cleave units like Ida, Cabal before you get a chance to. So just a heads up, cleansers don't automatically just counter both, Elena or LUA if they're played in hyper aggressive cleave comps. Okay, there's the skill animation. Let's go and look at the next skill here, guys. We have, where is it? Disciple of the Stars, the skill 2. After an ally, except for the caster attacks, when the target is unable to counterattack, right? From her skill 3, activates Worship Me. Worship Me can only be activated once every 4 turns, 3 turns after Mola. So we get a staggering 50% combat radius for all allies and 10 souls. And if you combine that with the Unseen Observer, which they showed in the actual skill set, we get 20 souls, right? A full Taga Hell's worth. Pretty strong, right? Synergistic with her kit. Okay. Let's go look at the animation for this as per usual.
Worship Me. Increases combat readiness of all allies by 15% and acquire 10 souls.
Here we
Can
go.
only be
Right, that's
activated
the
once every
Elena
4 turns.
animation. And then y'all saw the Unseen Observer, right? Now they have 20 souls. So now Elena can, or Ida. Well, she won't be able to use it, but 20 souls regardless is powerful. Maybe for the Melissa turn, right? All right. Astromancer Elena, we got Melody of Damnation. Attacks the enemy with a punishing melody. When the target has a debuff, increased damage. Okay, so the skill 1, not as strong as LUA's 2-turn defense break. But, it could probably do some good damage here if we get to the skill 1. The real moneymaker, obviously, though, is applying Restrict and cannot counter on the skill 3. So a very, very unique kit, boys. Both her and Lua, I think, bring a lot of new stuff to the table. I'm just worried about it personally as a slower Banshee player, counter player. But for those of you that like these kind of units that can play fast, you now have another answer to stopping these annoying units like Violet. Remember, guys, she has 35% hit chance. So if you combine that with any hit chance artifact, Symbol of Unity, or Oath Key, you're going to be able to just get through even evasion units as well. I think she's just got a powerful kit, boys. Ignore ER, has a 1-turn cooldown duration, or just bring another strip unit before. I don't like it at all, but I think some of y'all can make great use of this. So take advantage, boys. Don't feel bad crushing those counters. All you that have been struggling against counter units, here you go. Here's another option. In terms of what she's going to bring to the table for just a general player or new player, like I just made an ML5 tier list. Go check that out on the Amazon channel, boys. I don't think she's a must-have either, as she's very niche, right? We want to bring her against counter units. And I think mostly cleavers alone will want to use her. I don't think I can see too much use for her for standard or turn 2 players, tanky players. But maybe she's worth picking up even just for, like, you know, extra arena and guild war options, right? Because of how strong cannot be countered is on a skill. So yeah, overall, guys, even though I don't like these heroes, they both look amazing. I can't take away the looks. They knocked it out of the park visually. And for their skills, I dread it, but a lot of y'all are going to take advantage and probably destroy me if you find me in RTA. So I'm happy for y'all, but I'm not happy myself. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up there. Good luck on your pulls. When they actually come out, I'll give more takes on them, of course. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about all of it in the description below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.